Well, greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars Dad, Nooch Too Good. And last week, we had a couple of videos on the channel that generated a lot of interesting comments and discussion around the state of the game. And actually, one kind of led to another, and all the comments flowed together. And I'm going to put them both. So the first video is right here. It was the Stark packs that I found I found these Stark packs that are just like your marquee packs that are in the shop, and I kind of complained about it. I don't think it's cool at all to do that. And I found out what price anchoring is. You put this out there so people see that, hey, there's a crappy old character for that, and now I can get a new character for the same thing. It feels good. I still don't like it. I don't think it's a good idea, but I learned something about marketing this week. And then the second video is Galaxy Heroes dying. This was actually a question or a series of questions that were asked to me on stream. And so I had something to say about it, and I had a little speech and gave my impassioned speech about it. Now we're seeing like people like Arnold jumped in there yesterday with an is SWGOH dying? It's hard to say anyway. So hey, let's take a look at these comments from the past week. And I'm putting these comments together like we're not going to separate them out by video because they're all very similar. So Virtual OA says, these are all signs of a dying game. The game is too slow-paced to stand up with any modern game today. Compare this with any other gacha game. You can easily create a team in the other games within a few weeks. The fact that CG adds gear you have to farm on top of mods and mod resources to max those mods is quadruple dipping. Characters should not need gear to improve them, just levels. Mod upgrading is fine, only if they remove gear requirements. You cannot have a system that takes months to farm the gear required for a single relic character, then require the same to upgrade mods to max rank. Also, so you clearly can. I'm just putting it out there. You clearly can have that thing, and I think it's funny that these are signs of a dying game. It's been the same since day one. This is nothing new. I mean, there's new things added, but character levels and gear levels have been out there since day one. Mods basically since day one. Datacrons are new. Omicron's new. You know, it's just a bunch of different layers of it. But most of it has been there, or the basic idea of spending all this gear to upgrade. You can't say that's not a good argument for saying these are signs of a dying game. Now what he says is this compared to modern games is different, and I'm like, okay, well that's fine. Let's talk about this. So, give me an example of a modern gacha game. I may play it, see how I'm always curious. I said that, so I'm always curious. Like, are there new games that would be more interesting and fun to play? Can we use them on the channel as an example? Can we pull up a newer game, play it on the channel, and say, you know what, they could really bring whatever this game mode is or this farming method is to Star Wars Galaxy Heroes? It would be super awesome. And he lists out these games. We have Genshin Impact, Arknights, Honkai Star Rail, Wuthering Waves, Guardian Tales. We have all the other older games that age nicely, like Puzzle and Dragons. So I looked up all these games because I'm seriously, I'm open to playing another game on the channel just to see what's going on. Probably not long term, but just to see it. And then he puts a list out here of why Dragons and Puzzles is, you know, the best game ever, and that's fine. I looked at all these games. They're all either puzzle games where you're putting a little puzzle together, or anime pretty girl games, and it's just I don't care. I think that's the thing for me about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is I think the main reason I play it is because I love Star Wars, you know, and I guess they kind of got me or whatever with the gear and everything, but I don't know, it's, I'm not going to play these games because they don't really, when I look at them, they don't appeal to me. Nothing about these, I don't play Galaxy of Heroes because it's a gacha game. Like, I don't delve deep into the minds of gacha games. I am delved deep into the minds of Star Wars games, and I played a lot of Star Wars games over the years. I've played a fair amount of mobile games as well, but I don't specifically play gacha games. So I get it, probably, I'm sure, and I've seen, you know, some of the newer gacha games. I think I've probably seen some replays and stuff from some of these games already out there just randomly on videos. So, I mean, I've seen new gacha games, and for sure, you know, there's stories out there. I'm not a big story guy, I'll put that out there. I'm not, you know, Loader Homie had this story where they took the original story and kind of corrupted it into some weird, I don't know what it was, there was some spirit and something possessing people or something. I don't really get into the story of games, and that's kind of an anathema right now, right? Like, people play Jedi Knight, Fallen Order, or Survivor, or people play Wukong, or you play any other game, Warhammer, you play the game, a big part of it is the story for everybody. So there's actually a story involved. You get into the story, you're loving it, you really get in. I don't know. I prefer to go watch a movie or play a game. I don't really put those two things together in my mind. And maybe that's because I'm an old guy. I don't know, but maybe these games have better stories in them. I think some of them do have more stories type stuff in them. It just doesn't appeal to me. And I'm just not into... Anime's fine. I don't have a problem with it. If you like anime, that's great. I think it'd be a little weird for a 52-year-old guy to pull out an anime game that's all a bunch of little anime girls doing like little flirty, sexy things, and it just seems a little odd to me. Anyway, I'm not playing these games. I get it. Some people don't like Galaxy of Heroes and the way that it's put together. You don't like the gear farming system and whatever. You think it's an old, dying game. That's totally fine. It is an old game. Is it dying? I think Arnold is right to and Gerbil that to assess it's probably reached its peak and it's probably on the downside of stuff. But are we dead yet? Absolutely not. We got a long run left in this thing. So let's take a look at some more content. Now here's Blair M on the topic. You know, SWGOH definitely isn't going anywhere soon. I agree with you 100%. They're making hundreds of millions. Yeah, I agree with Arnold. He pointed out. I think he believes they probably made $2.5 billion. I think that's right. It's somewhere over $2 billion that they've made on this game. This is the highest revenue generating game that Star Wars game ever made. There's, you know, EA said they made $5 billion on Star Wars games. It's over $2 billion on this game. This is the highest revenue Star Wars game ever made, mobile or otherwise. So, last year, Lightspeed bundles have shown out Capital Games how much money they still can make for the game. I think they're still at least 3 years. I think that's true, at least 3 years. You know, it's funny we're putting time frames on this now. I don't know that there's a time frame really. It's just a matter of interest of people and is the game still making money? Even though CG doesn't care about it, this is one of the only bastions for all Star Wars fans of every single inner circle. All types of Star Wars fans play this game, from the casual. I think this is right. I talk to people who, prequel lovers, you got people like me who are, you know, more OT, you know, original guys from the back when the movies first came out. You've got fans of the sequels that are playing this game. You have people that have really not, I mean, like Bit Dynasty didn't even watch the movies till he played this game, and he loved the prequels. He loved Anakin, and therefore Revenge of the Sith is his least favorite movie because Anakin turns, you know, goes bad. You got people in Clone Wars is a gigantic community in this game. You got people that do love the TVs. I mean, we have everybody in this game playing this. Everybody in the Star Wars community is playing this game, and it's casuals, hardcore. Yeah, you've got people like that just kind of play it like, you know, they like Star Wars, they play it every now and then, and those people don't watch YouTube videos and they don't really worry about Grand Arena too much. They play when they can and they don't when they can't. And then you got hardcore players, hardcore fans. It crosses the spectrum of all fans. There's really not anywhere else to get that in Star Wars right now. Lake Wave Messiah says, I retired in August, tried coming back twice because I missed the daily whatever, and I fizzled out both times in less than a week. I think of it less and less. I will go back in my profundity. It doesn't sound like it does not sound like you will go back and get your profundity. I didn't stop after getting shards for nothing, but I just don't care right now. Hey, we've all been here. I've been here. Everybody's. I don't know Arnold and never talked to him. I can imagine that he's gone through stretches of this where it's like he loves making the content. He loves doing the streams. At some point, you know, playing this game for 9 years straight, you've got to just kind of wear out on it. There's got to be a point where you kind of just... And one thing I think is a great idea is to step back and join a casual guild, but if that doesn't even work, you're just tired of the game, take time off. Just leave the game, quit it. I actually quit, thought I wasn't coming back, and I did come back 4 months later, and I've loved it ever since. John Jackson, I had 6 months in 2017, then had time away and came back when Revan was new. Played daily until a few months ago. So from Revan till a few months ago, that's a good time. When was Revan? 2018, 2019? I don't know. A few months ago, got 4 GLs, SLKR, Jedi Master Luke, Rey, Jabba, as well, and a few. That's a big account. I enjoyed my time, but it started to feel like everything was becoming a time sink. What started as 15 minutes doing the dailies turned into over an hour doing guild tasks and things like learning the new GL tokens, which are the new GL tokens. Oh, yeah, I agree with that new GL token game mode or whatever. It's kind of just garbage. It's something you do once a month. It doesn't really add anything to the game at all. Like, it adds nothing. And the currency really doesn't add hardly anything. It's really kind of, I don't know, not a great, Final nail in the coffin was Conquest, requiring hours of my time to get a reasonable box and a few data crowns. I still follow the game every now and then, but don't miss it. Hey, I get it. You know, and I think there are definitely, again, levels of players. Some people are not going to enjoy the game unless they're doing everything and playing it to their hilt. I'm kind of borderline like that. And I say borderline because I'm not in a top-tier guild. I don't have to be in a top-tier guild to enjoy the game. I could be in a, I'd say I'm a medium top-tier guild. We're no slouches, but you know, I don't have to be in that massive end game guild to enjoy the game. But I do all the game modes. I do all the game modes, and without doing all the game modes or working to progress in the game, I feel like I really wouldn't get as much out of it. So yeah, John Jackson, I get that too. Now, this is one that's interesting me. It was a hypothetical question. Since so many people are leaving the game needs more players than it needs players more than it needs money. This is referring to the question I was answering when I did my stream. I answered the is SWGOH dying, and I don't think it was Addict6632 that asked it, but this is something that's happened. I've been playing the game since the beginning. This has happened throughout. You know, you have periods of time where lots of players will leave, and then the game rebounds, comes back. You know, you had the Darth Revan meta that was out there for a year plus, year and a half, and nothing new came out. And we were like, what is going on? What's the deal with this game? And so this is kind of an ebb and flow that I think almost any game goes through. I do think we are ebbing right now. You know, it's been kind of a slow-ish year. They didn't give us a capital ship this year. We only got 2 ships this year, period. We did get the Gungans. We did get Queen Amidala and the Poncho Bros. Now we're getting Ahsoka and Balin's Skull. But it has felt kind of like a slow year overall for the game. The Lightspeed bundles were a little bit weird, delivered at a weird cadence, and, you know, I don't know. It kind of seemed like a strange, interesting year. They did up the free-to-play. They made free-to-play a lot better at the beginning of the game. So the game does go through ebbs and flows where more people are leaving and you really feel it like they're leaving and people are coming back. That's always been the case, and right now it does feel like more people are leaving than are joining the game. So we'll see if they can flow it here sometime soon with content, and we'll see how that goes. I think these are 2 interesting comments. Vaultec Bro. I used to say Vault C Bro forever. Vaultec Bro. Game ain't dying. People moving out of dude, life happening. Everyone needs a break. It's a mobile game. Kudos. I agree with you, and this is what I said in the video. Just because people or content creators like Gerbil or Celiac Sarah leave the game doesn't mean that it's the game itself that's the problem. Priorities and life styles and what you're doing in your life, it all changes. It changes over and over, and you're always refocusing your life, seeing what's going on, finding new things. You have a kid, you know, you get somebody sick in your family, whatever. So many things can happen that can just retool your life. Get a new job, you got to move, whatever. Things happen, life priorities change, games come and go. You guys have all left games for whatever reasons. And then SS Cyclo, I can't read it. SS Cyclo Oxygenase. I'm sure that's some kind of, I'm not going to say what I think that might be. I could get in trouble with YouTube. Okay, it's no big deal. I thought maybe he was talking about the SS and using gas or something. I don't know. I know nothing about chemistry, so just like aspirin or something in the body. I don't know. Anyway, there's still a significant number of new players coming in, but they pushed away most legacy players. You used to just have to have Rex and Ayla and Barris. Then they reached the point where whaling was necessary for progression. This used to just have you just had to have Rex and Ayla and Barris. I mean, we're talking. What are we talking about here? Like 2017? I mean, the game's been going for 7 years, and I don't know anybody that ever needed Ayla in. Nobody ever needed Ayla. She just kind of was needed for Jedi Master Kenobi, and that's about it. She got a datacron for a while. I don't understand that comment really. I get the idea that I mean it's probably true that most people that have played the game have quit the game. There are more people that have quit the game than are currently playing. Look at any squad arena. You know, when I try to drop hard in squad arena, I can drop down to about 1,000. That's 1,000 out of 20,000, which means that 19 out of 20 people have stopped playing the game over time. People pick it up, probably play for a few days and let it go. That's probably like something like 30 to 40% of anybody that ever picks up the game. They pick it up for a few days, let it go, and move on with their life. And then the people that stick, you know, so for sure the game's been around so long. Many more people have quit the game than have kept playing it. I don't know about joined it. Well, you can't have more people quitting than joined. Then 7. Anyway, math is hard. The title of the video made me think about the game, Kill Doom Rodar. I personally feel like the characters that are coming out are not super exciting. I also think that the Lightspeed bundles unintentionally created a weird vacuum where there was so much going on with bundles and people were getting GLs. Now you're back to this old grind where each character has to be farmed, gear, and all. I could see how that would be frustrating to some players. That's an interesting observation. Now, not thinking the characters are super exciting. I asked for Jar Jar for years. I was really excited for Jar Jar. I love the Poncho. I love Queen Amidala. I think that was exciting. There just wasn't a lot going on this year. And yeah, they've gone past, like, you know, a lot of games will issue you Luke and Darth Vader, and maybe you do Anakin as a separate character, even though he is Darth, but you get the idea. Obi-Wan, and then you'll just have to pay for skins right along the way. You just pay for Obi-Wan. You buy the Clone Wars skin. You buy the old Obi-Wan skin. You buy the clone. You buy the Rebels old Obi-Wan skin. Whatever. They would just charge you for skins, and you just play the game. This game is more of like each one of those is a different character in the game. So they're kind of running out of those different characters in the game. And I do get that people that bought Lightspeed bundles would now be kind of like looking at it going, man, I could pay 20 bucks for a Galactic Legend every now and then, or I can farm my brains out for 3 years to get four or five Galactic Legends. I'm not enjoying this, but I like buying the bundles. I can see where that could be a trade-off that some people aren't willing to make, and maybe they came back to the game because of the Lightspeed bundles, and now they're back to regular farming, and they're like, oh, now I remember this. I don't want to. That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, here's my favorite. The devs may not be killing off the game, but they should be. Paw Paw the Beagle. Frankly, it's sad commentary on both corporate ethics and what we as paying consumers choose to pay for with our ever dwindling. Well, I'm going to read it as it says. What we as paying consumers choose pay for with our ever-dwindling hard-earned dollars. Dollars and time, dollars that could be used in so many more practical, needed, fun, and enriching ways, like putting quality food on the table, vacations, reading, learning about real-life wisdom accumulation, your or one's child's education, and on and on. Okay. Okay, boomer. My grandparents said this. I don't know what to tell you. This, Paw Paw the Beagle, I'm really glad you commented. I'm glad you're here. When I see this kind of comment, this is what every generation says. It's what my great-great-grandparents said about radio. It's what the generation before them said about newspapers. Why you waste your time buying them? Then sitting around reading that newspaper. You could be out here hunting quail. And then when the radio came out, why are you sitting there huddled around a radio listening to Little Orphan Annie? You could be reading this newspaper and getting more information and knowledge. And then TV came out. Why you just glued your eyes to that TV? You could be listening to these old classic shows like Little Orphan Annie and reading newspapers. And then, well, movies came out before TV, but, you know, and it goes on. And then in the 80s, we got VCRs. And, oh, now you're really stuck. You can just watch whatever show you want whenever you want it. You record it. You zap through the commercials on your video, on your tape. We used to have to sit down, and we had to get there on Saturday night and at 7 o'clock. And we could watch Bob Newhart and Carol Burnett. And why are you doing that videotape makes life so easy. You're missing out on sitting down. And then now it's like cell phones, everything, where you spend your money. My response to this is the same as it's always been. The entertainment dollar is out there to be spent. I believe we are spending more entertainment dollars than ever, but we're spending it in a very different way. And yeah, mobile games are the most expensive games out there, but the thing about a mobile game is it lives for a long, long time. It can live for a long, it can live, less than 1% do, but it can live for a long, long, long time. Unlike if you go and play Jedi Fallen Order, you pay 60 to 70 bucks, maybe 125 bucks with DLCs or whatever. Then you go and play Wukong, 125 bucks with DLCs. Then you go and play Warhammer 40,000, 20,000. You play that one time, you play it for a couple months and you're done. You get another game, you pay 100 bucks for it, play it for a couple months and you're done. Another game, pay 100 bucks for a couple months and you're done. So this game, you could pay 100 bucks, play it for a couple months, and then play for another couple of months and pay 100 bucks, and play for another couple months and play 100 bucks. And honestly, if the free market will accept the cost of what's in the game, that's great. Now, I don't like some of the practices. I don't like putting a Colonel Stark bundle out there that's the same as a marquee bundle, and people unknowingly pay 1,200 crystals and get 7 shards of Colonel Stark when they can get 10 shards just with a little bit of raid currency. I don't like that at all. But I think this is just, sorry, Pawpaw, this is an old man argument. You know, I think I agree. Everyone should be putting quality food on the table, taking vacations, reading, learning about. By the way, vacations is a very new concept. 100 years ago, ain't nobody taking no vacation, okay? Except for very rich people. You were working in a factory or on a farm all day with your hands bleeding, and you had your kids working in the fields because you needed that income and they were paying almost nothing. You worked 70, 80 hours a week. You never got off work, and that was life. So that's a new thing, vacations. Real life, I agree. Real life and wisdom is very important. That's why I do make time for my family. Your child's education, yeah, it's all important. That's all important. But the entertainment dollar is going to be spent differently for each person. Whales make me sick and dumbfounded. This I'm reading, by the way. By the way, in context, whales make me sick and dumbfounded me on so many levels. Don't get it twisted. I'm not jealous of them at all due to their overall idiocy. Yeah, you know, calling somebody else that plays a game that you play and plays it differently from how you play it and spends the money they want to spend their money, calling them idiots, I'm just not into that. The game wouldn't be around without our whales. So whales can do whatever they want. Yeah, period. Your money is your money. Your entertainment dollar is your entertainment dollar. If you're spending it in a bad way and you've got an addiction problem, I don't want to say not my problem. I think it's, you know, I think we all worry about other human beings and their families and everything, but that's something that you've got to figure out. I can't fix your addiction problems. And by the way, if you have an addiction problem and you're not addicted to mobile gaming, you're going to be addicted to something else that may be much more unhealthy, or maybe you get addicted to fitness and working out. Or maybe you get addicted to alcohol or drugs. I don't have no idea, but if you have an addiction problem, you got an addiction problem. It's not going to limit itself to one facet of your life. It's going to spread into something. So anyway, I just disagree with this comment on almost every level. And this was one of the most interesting ones to me. And those are the things I disagree with. I just disagree with almost everything you're saying here. I'm a dissenting realist contrarian. Yeah, pessimists and negative people always call themselves realists. It's just, I feel like you're a little jealous, but that's fine. And he keeps going on, and that's fine. I'm not going to read the whole thing. There might be something in there, but you get the idea. Meathead, who knows vast reach against program issues, speaking overall culture of corporate complicity. You're not going to get anybody that is, I am on board with corporate complicity. I don't like the way corporations operate in our economy right now. I think they're running everything. Giant corporations, giant banks run everything, but they always kind of have. But our government, you know, there needs to be a big breakup. We had our opportunity in 2008, 2009 and did not take it. And so now they're really, we made them even more powerful by bailing them out. But that's a separate conversation. I don't disagree with that at all. I just think this is, I don't know. I don't like really the tone of this, and I don't think it's a real productive way to put it. I think we can have an adult conversation instead of whatever's going on here. So let's take a look at one more comment, then we'll head out for today. The Naboo raid, spell correct does some weird things, man. Is B next to P on the keyboard? No. The Naboo raid. Oh, well, that's on purpose. The Naboo raid, yes, has had some part in players leaving. The time it takes versus the Endor raid is far too much. It pushed quite a few players over the edge into quitting. A poll on Reddit, around 10% or less actually liked the raid. Yeah, it's not a popular raid. Most are just doing it for the guild rewards. Next raid needs to be more player friendly. I'll keep playing until the lights go out or either the game or mine. And I said every new raid and every new game mode has the same result. Every time they issue a new raid, and this was true for a long time when they issued the original pit raid with the Rancor, then next was HAAT, then next was a heroic Sith raid. That was people would leave guilds to go join a guild that was doing better in the raid to get better rewards because you unlock characters at the time with those rewards. And now, yeah, there's a lot of characters unlocked with the Mark 1 currency stuff if you're a new player, but it's not the same. It was the only way you could get Han Solo and General Kenobi and Darth Trey was through those raids. So the raids have always been a source of people quitting, people changing guilds, the game moving around, lots of moving parts. People really are not enjoying the Naboo raid. The rewards are less on it. It's very time. If you are try-harding the Naboo raid it's very time consuming. For me, I put my teams in there, I put it on auto, I set the phone to the side. It does take, like on a good run with my Gungans, it'll take 10 plus minutes to do one run with the Gungans in the raid. And I know there are some people that really enjoy that, and that's on auto, by the way. And sometimes I get a million, sometimes I get the full 1.2 million. It's fine, I just accept it and move forward. I do think that I don't think the Naboo raid's been a big success for the game, and I think they went overboard with it and made it really... The thing about these new raids is it's different than it used to be. The raids originally were... You go through the end, you cooperate with your guild, you get points, eventually you take out Darth Treya or the HAT, and then it's complete and you win it. There's no complete to the raids anymore. You just run it through and through and through until you die or until you get your max points. It does feel different. It's not as much... it's a very different feeling. There used to be a feeling to it that when you completed it, it was a lot of fun. I think that probably the level of characters in the game kind of outpaced that old raid mode, and the design of it was too difficult. And when they modified the challenge pit, or when they put the challenge pit out, it was kind of a mess for a long time. They had to modify it like 4 or 5 times and change it up and do different things. And I think they realized at that point, we worked really hard on this, and it's just not going to work. The rosters don't work with these raids anymore. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of the new raid system. I do it on auto. I've been doing it on auto since the Crate Dragon came out. It is what it is. I'm not sure if they got any ideas for that in the future, but yeah, this raid is not very exciting, and it has worn some people out. I guess my feedback would be, again, you can go to a lower level guild, but I guess people don't want to leave their guild. It's weird to me that the option is either stay in my guild or quit the game. Like, there are guilds that are doing lower level stuff or not requiring as much of you in the game as your guild might be requiring. Maybe it's time to look at one of those guilds and make a different decision, or just kind of step back a little bit from the grind of the guild play into something that's a little more casual, or not as demanding, I guess. So there you go, boys and girls. Those are my thoughts. It was a really good discussion from everybody. All the comments, even when I disagree with them, it's good to have the discussion and get everything out there and get everything on the table. Great discussion of the game. We are definitely in an ebb of the game right now. We'll see if it can get its way back to flowing here in 2025 or sometime in the near future. Let me know your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. I will talk to you very soon. And of course, always remember, Newt's too good.